Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Winning Hand podcast. Tonight's podcast is going to be a little bit different. I've been listening to King Thrash's Hit After Hit, the continuation, aka Part 2, right? So, in the spirit of, spitting facts and keeping with them, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a seminar, if you may. Why? Because it's necessary. Because I see questions. Apparently, motherfuckers want answers. I'm here to give it to them. So whenever you see a motherfucker ask y'all these similar questions, feel free to tell them to go watch this shit. They might learn something. Before I get into that, just want to let y'all know where I've been. Um, Sup Jamal, Sup Logical Nonsense. Um, I've been chilling, chilling like a motherfucker because Lunar New Year just came through a couple weeks ago, and I had to celebrate that shit. And in order for me to celebrate that shit, what's up, Sick? In order for me to celebrate that shit, I just want to let y'all know a little bit about my culture because y'all might not know about my culture, right? When Lunar New Year come around, like the 2 weeks before actual New Year Day, like my country was shut the fuck down. You understand? Like shit was stopped. Don't call customer service. Ain't nobody answer your call. You know what I mean? The country literally shut the fuck down. Everybody go home and stay with their family and basically kick it with their neighbors and have a merry time. All the way until 2 weeks into the next new year. You understand? What's up, Garuda? A solid month worth of just chilling out with your peoples, catching up with them, enjoying your life, etc., etc. You know what I mean? But of course, I live in America nowadays, and motherfuckers can't do that. Motherfuckers have responsibilities here, got jobs to go to, all that shit. So it it gets relegated down to only a couple of days here in the states, which is still cool. You know what I mean? Which is still cool. You still try to celebrate the whole thing as much as you can, but you still go to work and all this other stuff. Now, one of the most important things you have to keep in mind during this holiday is you don't want to cuss, yell, just be in an overall bad mood in general. You want to be in a good mood. You feel me? What's up, Magnificent Black? AKA Black the Magnificent. You know what I'm saying? Black the Magnificent also. Right? But yeah, so in order for you to enjoy Lunar New Year, you have to keep negative thoughts out of your mind. And just keep nothing but good thoughts in there. You know what I mean? Think nice things, say nice things, and do nice things for other people around you, right? Because it's the New Year's. You want to end the year that you own nicely and start the new year off right. And that's why y'all haven't seen me around at all. Because ain't nothing about this bullshit is positive. You know what I'm saying? So I was out. I was out for a solid month. Now, when I came back, I see there's questions being asked. And to be quite frank with you, those questions have been asked for months and years. I'm going to take this opportunity to do a seminar to actually answer those questions for y'all. Not y'all particularly, because I feel like if y'all kick it with me long enough, y'all would know me well enough to know what I'm about to say. But the thing is, it's necessary because I see these questions being asked, right? I see these questions being asked and I want to answer it for them, right? Because here's the thing. If these motherfuckers already know the answer to these questions, then they're a bunch of fuck boys because they know better, but they pretend not to. But just in case motherfuckers really don't know any better, right? I'm going to take the responsibility of educating these motherfuckers because for whatever reason, they big homies, they parents, they teachers never did. Know what I mean? So let's get into this, right? I want to start off with this subject. Now, sometimes I'm going to be doing these seminars whenever I feel like it's necessary. So different topics may apply, but for tonight, for tonight is about anti-consumerism, you know what I'm saying? Consumer friendly practices, just commerce in general. Now, I don't want to get into the relationship between a business that provide goods and services and a consumer who consume goods and use services. The reason why is because I don't think such a grand concept can be grasped by such small-minded people. And like I mentioned, I'm not talking to people that kick it with me because you already know what I'm talking about. But for the people who are asking, what's up, Jemima? For the people who are asking these questions, I will break it down in depth for you. Now, when you're asking why, right? Why are some companies so anti-consumer that they keep their products to themselves and not offer it to other people? Wouldn't it be better for all of us if we can play whatever we want on anything that we want, right? I will be here to explain to you why, step by step, why that is not only foolish and ridiculous and harmful to us, but I'm also going to explain to you step by step how a business transaction work. Not mentioning the fact that it's between a corporation and a person just buying that shit. You know what I'm saying? What up, DT? I don't think I've seen you around, bro. But thanks for coming through. Um, let's talk about that, right? First things first. The concept of a business transaction. Let's not even talking about between corporations and just the general public. You know what I mean? Let's get that out of your mind. Just think a business transaction. Anything that has to do with money exchanging hands, right? That is a business transaction. Even when you give your homie some money, that is a business transaction. You may not think that that is a business transaction, but that is a business transaction. Money is being moved from one person, one corporation, one entity to another. Is a business transaction. Let me explain to you why you handing your homie a couple $100 because he's falling down on hard times, a business transaction. All right? You handing your homie about $400-500 to get him through the month. It's basically you telling him this. Look, my good sir, I've known you for quite some time, and you've been there for me when I needed you. You have given me, pause, services that no other random motherfucker can give me. You was there as a homie when I needed you. So because you have given me such good services, pause, I'm here to return such good favors. Do you understand? There's no such thing when when money is moving from one entity to another that is not considered a business transaction. It always is. So when one hand money to another entity, right? For whatever reason, I appreciate that, DT. Thank you for coming through. So between one entity to another, the reason why money is exchanged is because there is some form of goods and or services being provided by the person who will accept, not just a person, an entity that will accept that money. Do you understand? That is how it works. Now, the reason why any entity would give up money is because it's in exchange. What's up, Convo? It's in exchange for something either as valuable or even more valuable to the person who is purchasing such things. That is how a business transaction work. Do we have an understanding on that? Now, to move forward from that, In order for a person to pay someone, they have the responsibility of asking themselves, will parting ways with this amount of money be worth it for whatever it is that I'm about to purchase, whether it's a product or a service? And it could be anything. This is video game, specifically, but you can use that towards anything. Fucking video game consoles, TV, cars, clothing, fucking condoms. Am I gonna feel good wearing this condom? Is she gonna feel good when I wear this condom? Is it gonna fit? Do I like the color of this motherfucker? All these questions, it is your responsibility to ask yourself. You know why? Because it is your responsibility. Let me repeat that. It is your responsibility as a person who purchased goods or services, or services, to weigh those options. Do you understand? You must take that responsibility because no one else will. You will have to take the responsibility of controlling your own destiny when it comes to your financing. You have to ask yourself, do I have the funds for such a purchase? Is the purchase necessary? Is it more of a need or a want? And is it both? And is it more of a need or more of a want? When you apply that to something like a console is more a want than a need. None of us need a console to live in this world. Let's be real, right? It's mainly about a need. Is when money have to be exchanged. If it's a want, you don't have to exchange that money. You can keep it for yourself. With that being said, you have to remember your responsibility is to make sure that the purchase that you made is satisfactory to you. You feel me? That is how it works. Now, the person and or entity that's going to provide you that goods, well, those goods, I apologize, or services and or services, right, has to at least be responsible enough to provide you a product and or services that actually meets your wants and or needs. As long as they're able to do that, they have satisfied what they need to do. Everything beyond that is up to them. Now, it would be appreciative if they consider our budget, but they do not have to. The worth of a product and or services, not services, service, the worth of a service or a product is not incumbent on how much money we have. It's not about our funds. It's about how much worth that product has. You guys still follow me, right? Not you in the chat. This is more for anyone who you feel like needs to hear this. This cannot be broken down in any simpler of a format for someone to understand. Okay? So when you purchase a product and for whatever reason you are not satisfied, for whatever reason you are not satisfied. Now there's two types of satisfaction. Okay? There's two types of satisfaction. Welcome back, Logical 9 Cents. There's two types of satisfaction. You could be thoroughly satisfied, or you can still be satisfied. You just won't be thoroughly satisfied. You will be adequately satisfied. What is adequately satisfied compared to thoroughly satisfied? Here's a good example. You went home with a young lady and she's about a 7, but she gives incredible head. You are adequately satisfied. But if you come home with a 10 and her head game is amazing, you are thoroughly satisfied. Do you understand? You see, so when you make purchases, you can look at it from that side. or that view of such products and services. You can ask yourself, am I thoroughly satisfied with this product? If you're not, it's okay. Are you adequately satisfied with it? Because if it's you're adequately satisfied with it, then it's good enough, right? Money well spent. The amount of money you spent, right, equals to at least the product or service that you're getting. Now, if you're thoroughly satisfied, then you feel like the money that you spent is actually less of a value than what you got. And that's wonderful. That's all a consumer can ask for. That's all we strive for. That doesn't mean we get it every time. It's just, that's what we strive for, right? That's what we want when we actually pull money out of our wallet. That is how it works, right? That is how it works for us, for consumers. The responsibility we have is to make sure we spend our money to our favor, correct? The entity who sells us such products and or services, their only responsibility is to make sure that product or that service meets our requirement. Sometimes they fail to deliver that. If they do it unintentionally, then they just, aren't up to the task. If they do that intentionally, then that truly is anti-consumer to give customer a product that is not worthwhile. You following along, correct? So with that being said, with that dynamic understood, let's move on to the next step of this puzzle, right? In the world that we live in, and specifically free worlds, right? Countries who aren't shackled by certain laws that the government placed on them. They call them free worlds, but they're really not. But let's just, for the sake of getting things out the way, that's what we're gonna call it. Those countries who call themselves countries of the free world, such as America and the UK and whatnot, right? There's usually a lot of competitions between people who provide products and services, entities that provide goods and services. The reason why is because they see the lucrativeness of that. They could see that there are people out there who need things and want things, and they are capable of providing that and make that money in exchange. Correct? Because of that, they come together. Well, not come together, I apologize. They plot and plan. That's what they do. They plot and plan ways to make money from those of us who need and want things and services. That is how they get your money. They sit down and think of all the things that you could want and all the things that you really need and market that to you. They have to spend money, time, and effort to do that, but in exchange, they get cold hard cash for it. So it's worth the time, effort, and money that they actually spend to make more money. The thing is, because they understand how lucrative it is to provide you with something that you need or want for money, they're not going to be the only one. There will be plenty of people out there who wants the same thing from you, your money, because everyone loves money, right? So when that happens, those companies start going into competition with each other, better deals here, better products there, better, services here, better customer service there. Every company somehow find a way to make sure that they can stand out, to be worth your dollar. Do you understand? To be worth your dollar, they have to go the extra mile. They have to do more to be able to get that. Now, the problem happens when you ask why can't I just have all of you shake hands with one another and stop competing with one another? Because in order for everything to be on everything, right? Everyone's services and product have to be everywhere on everyone else's products and services. Then all of you have to shake hands with one another. Now, the whole dynamic falls apart, doesn't it? It went from everyone want my money, so they all challenge each other to get my money. Now, you're telling me that you're going to get my money no matter what if all of you just band together. If you band together, me as a consumer will literally have no more buying power towards anything. And I do mean towards anything, because every business is shaking hands. They all have come to some kind of agreement before they do anything. Before they make any business transaction with any one of us, all of them have gotten together already. All of them have shaken hands with one another. All of them have told each other what they would like to do, how much they would like to charge us, and how they want to do it, how they want to charge us. Do you understand? Not just how much, but how they want to charge us. Do you understand now that it all falls apart right there? It will be like that across the board with everyone. The reason why competition exists is because if one company fucks up, we get to go to another one. But you see, if all of them have the same thing, and if all of them shaking hands with each other, who do you think is getting screwed in this situation? Do you think it will be the business? Do you think that's consumer friendly? That you no longer have options? It's strange enough that you think when you can play any game on any system, you think those are great options. But those are not, because those options has always been available. If you wanted to play a game right now, you have the option to play it. Now here's the thing. Once we get to that, right? Once I say that, as if that's an opinion, that is not an opinion, that's an objective fact. If you want to play any game that is on the market right now, as long as the supply is available, because of course, as you guys know, there are certain shortages on certain systems out there, right? But, you know, with everything being equal, if the market is healthy with products on the shelf, right, and you want a certain product, you can have it today. That's the wonderful thing about commerce in the 21st century. You can have that thing today, or at least within, a day or two of business days to get something delivered, correct? You can have it today and play it today. See, if you was not thoroughly satisfied with a certain product, namely a console, right? If you are not thoroughly satisfied, you're only adequately satisfied, then what I would suggest to you is to buy multiple console. That's what I would suggest. Now, if you're in a situation where buying multiple consoles may be difficult for you, then we go back to step one. Remember back when I told you about the responsibility of a person who buying something, a consumer, right? Your responsibility is to do what? Is to make sure you keep your finances in check, you understand what you need and what you want, and you weigh your finances between those to see when is it a good idea to come off of your money, right? Now, like I mentioned, the cost of products and services has nothing to do with how much money you have, but how much they're worth, correct? So if you're not able to buy multiple console, here's what I would suggest. I suggest you, like I mentioned, just like step number one, understand the budget that you have, understand the cost of these products, understand what you'll be getting and not get with each product. Do your due diligence as a consumer to know what you need and want and know what you have readily available to you. And then you make the purchases that make sense to you. Is that clear? And then you could ask yourself, well, I'm not thoroughly satisfied owning just one console, right? You can tell yourself that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, having just one console isn't going to do it. I'm going to have to buy another one, right? So you weigh your options as far as how much you have, you know, what funds you have going towards another gaming system against, is it really worth getting another game system? And if it is, which one should I spend my money on? And so on and so forth. And you can keep doing that until you're thoroughly satisfied. Now, myself, you don't have to follow my example, but myself, I find that I am thoroughly satisfied with one system, and that is the PlayStation 5. Now, here's the thing, that doesn't have to be you. You could pick whatever you would like to pick. Contrary to popular beliefs, I don't really care what you play on at all. Because no matter what you play on, doesn't satisfy me in one bit when I play my video games. You know why? Because I did my due diligence as a consumer. I weigh the pros and cons between the different products that's in the market. I found the one I felt like would satisfy me as a person who enjoy video games. So I made that purchase. And voila. Thus far, I have not been disappointed. I am thoroughly satisfied. I do have some issues, but they're so minor I can't really even dock points off of it. It's still a 10 that gives amazing head. I do apologize, but my audience is mainly male driven, so I feel like that's a very good example. If any ladies come through, you know, I just want to say if you want to think the opposite, then you could do so as well. Anyways, so I hope that explains a lot for a lot of motherfuckers because I see it being asked all the time. Wouldn't it be better if we can play whatever we want, wherever we want, right? And I'm here to tell you, no, it really wouldn't. You would truly take away everything that is powerful about us as consumers. When you when you gave them the opportunity to take things away from you for your own good, then you fucked up. Well, exactly, DT. You made your choice, right? You weigh your options, and an Xbox wasn't even an option. It was not even in your thought process. And that is completely fine. Tell you the truth, it was also not even in my thought process when this generation hit. Last generation, it was in my thought process. Didn't purchase it though, because I weighed my options. And here's the thing with me, I came from very humble beginnings. I would never devalue someone else for, you know, lack of fundage that they have, right? I don't want to devalue you as a person or your thoughts, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, real talk, brokest motherfuckers always have the deepest of fucking thoughts. You feel me? Rich motherfuckers don't know shit. I'm just playing, I'll take that back. Self made rich motherfuckers know all kinds of shit. Born into it, rich motherfuckers don't know shit. You know? But I would never talk about other people's money as if they have it or they don't, right? Because for a long time I don't have it, you know. I was a part of the have not click for the longest. And, as I got older, I started making a little bit of money, having a little bit for myself, and it's a very nice feeling. But we're all from different path of life, and I can't really call it for you. And that's why I told you to weigh your options. I don't know where you are in your finances, but to be honest with you, I don't have an issue buying all the consoles that's out there. Like seriously, 1 month of work will buy me all the consoles plus build a PC. Real talk. But here's the thing, right? The reason why I didn't go through all of that, the reason why I don't have every system, right? The reason why I don't play on everything, the reason why I think it's unnecessary is because it is unnecessary. Some people's schedule are busier than mine. Mine actually became a lot less busier. I forgot to mention it to all of you in the chat. I've actually quit one of my jobs. I'm down to just one job, and I actually have way more free time now than I did before. Even though it doesn't seem like it's because I haven't been around, but that's due to quitting that one job happened right before Lunar New Year. So as soon as that happened, I was out and gone. So y'all even know. But I actually downsized down to one job, and you know why? It's because my whole life I've crunched. And I decided from now on, I'm going to take a vacation for the rest of my life on crunching. You know why? Because I spent 20 something odd years crunching to make sure once I hit this age, I would never have to fucking crunch again. So that just happened this New Year's. So I actually have a lot more free time now. I will be doing those projects that I mentioned to you guys before. I just, haven't gotten a chance to get around to it because real life shit matters more. But this episode tonight, this podcast tonight, is not a podcast. It is a seminar. As you could tell, my tone is very different than usual because usually my tone is relaxed when I'm speaking to everyone in the chat. But as you could clearly tell at this point, I am not speaking to motherfuckers in the chat. Because motherfuckers in the chat probably know exactly what the fuck I mean because I've been talking about this for months and years. But the reason why I have to do a fucking seminar is because I feel like you motherfuckers ask because you motherfuckers either don't know, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just pure ignorance that can be fixed with education. What can't be fixed are the people who already know, but they act like they don't. That is the worst. That is literally fuckboy shit. So that is the answer to your question. Why is it not a good idea to be able to play on everything? Now, this is the part where I'm actually gonna get to that logical nonsense. This whole RDNA thing, right? RDNA and Navi and all that shit. I'll get to that in a second as well. That's actually the second half of this seminar. I want to close off this section of this anti-consumer nonsense first, right? And why is it not a good idea? Let me tell you this. I can't prove this. So this is just conjecture, It's just my opinion. This is just my thoughts on this whole situation, right? I truly believe that the reason why this question is even a thing, you know, this whole thing, the reason why this whole thing is even a thing, why people even ask these stupid ass questions at all, is because, and I see Jemiah in here, so he's going to not like me when I say this, but this is the truth. There's a certain sect of PC people who feel like they deserve to play those games. that is not available on a PC. Excuse me. And there's also a decent sect of people on the Xbox brand that are not thoroughly satisfied with the product they purchased. They failed step number one. Like I mentioned, this is just all my theories. These are all concepts that I have in my head. It may not be true. This part of the seminar is not factual. What I said as far as commerce, as far as a business transaction, all that is true. Okay? But this is just me thinking out loud. This is the section of the seminar where we can discuss certain things. Why are certain things in place? And I feel like that's the case. I feel like for whatever reason, a certain sect of the PC community, because they created, right? They built a Frankenstein machine in their system to run games very well. They feel like because they've done that for themselves, they deserve everything else that comes along with their hard earned spent time, money, and effort. And of course, the opposite of that are our Xbox brethrens who purchase products without, going through step number one. They didn't weigh their options. They didn't ask themselves, is it worth it? And most importantly, they didn't purchase a product out of asking themselves, is it a want or a need? They didn't even go that far. They purchased a product out of loyalty. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had Sony PlayStation since the first one. I've came to expect a certain amount of quality from them. But don't get me wrong, I would never buy anything that they make out of just loyalty alone. I did this seminar to always remind you motherfuckers to always weigh your options. To ask yourself, is it worth the money you are about to spend on anything? You see, you can't, how would you be able to be upset at a company where you didn't buy their product? They have nothing to do with you. They would love for you to buy their product, but you haven't bought none of their products. Why would they be at fault for anything? You feel me? Why would they be at fault for anything? Just because you went out and spent $4,000 or $5,000 on a gaming system when they provide a $500 system. Sure, it won't run as well as your Frankenstein beast of a machine, but they provide you a product, and that product comes with other products. They're literally add-ons. Well, technically it's not. It's actually the main reason why you purchased that product in the first place, right? But like I mentioned before, it has nothing to do with the money that you spent or the money that you have. Remember, these companies exist, these entities exist because they know how lucrative it is to provide you with what you want and or need. And they will stop at nothing to provide you what you want and or need for a fee. So they would love nothing more for you to purchase their goods and services. But you haven't. You have not purchased their goods or services. You have not spent money with them. What reasons do they have to satisfy you? To go out of their way to spend money for you? Who would do such a thing? What's up, Titanfall? Who would do such a thing, right? I don't I don't want to make it more than what it is, but that's how I feel about this whole situation. It's either people aren't able to just admit to themselves that they made a poor choice in the products that they purchase, or people just would like to be upset at a corporation instead of at themselves for making the decisions that they make. Now, in console gaming, right? Console gaming specifically, because it's very different than PC gaming. Motherfuckers build a PC just to play video games on a PC. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, they feel like it's necessary to play on a PC, so they build a PC. When you purchase a console, you usually play on that console. That's all you do is play. At least I hope so. Yeah, you saw that Titanfall. But yes, so that's how it happens. People really need to take responsibility for their own actions. Your money is your money. Please spend it responsibly. Do not spend it on one company and be upset at another company. It doesn't make any sense. Jemiah, you see that? Because they failed step one. They didn't do the due diligence of a consumer. They didn't look up what's available, what that products entail, what it costs you. And when I say what it costs you, I don't mean just money. It's what you have to give up. There's sacrifices to be made. You have to know these things so you can make the clearest choice you can. You know what I mean? That's how commerce work. It's not about you. It's just about your money. Plain and simple. And the only reason why I feel like this seminar is necessary is because this type of conversation can slowly actually tip it to reality. And that would be a terrifying reality I do not want to live in. I do not want to live in a world where every consumer is under the heel of every business. Do you understand? Because the moment they stop competing with one another, the moment they all shake hands, we're all fucked. There is no, let me repeat that. There is no such thing as choice if everyone has everything. Do you know why? Because then you would all just go to the best thing, the best in price, the best in products, best in service. And to be honest with you, it comes down to value. That is the next topic I want to discuss, and I will discuss this very quickly. You see, value is not cheap. That is not the same thing. And when you say a service is a great value, I totally disagree. Because you are literally paying to have nothing. Do you understand? You are literally paying to have nothing. Yes, exactly. Just like AT&T and T and Verizon. Do you know AT&T used to be the only telecommunication company in America? You know what AT&T stand for? You don't even know why I know what AT&T stand for because I used to work for them for many years while I was living in Atlanta. One of the T's in AT&T is for telegraph. That's how long they've been around, right? To a certain point, AT&T got so big that the government was like, "No, motherfucker, y'all cannot monopolize this shit. We need to break this company into pieces," right? That's where you get Bell South in the South. You got like Pac Bell or some bullshit in the Midwest, or some like they break it down to in different sections. But yes, once the service gets cut off, you get nothing. And in order for you to keep on enjoying these products, you have to keep on paying. You are under the heel of that company. Do you understand? It doesn't matter what you want, what you don't want. What you get is what you get on a service. Do you understand? What you want doesn't matter anymore when you're in a service. Whatever that service gives you is what you get. You are literally paying upwards of $15, $20 a month to have nothing. Where's the value in that? Now, you see, people say you pay $10, $15 a month, you get access to thousands of games, right? But let's be honest with ourselves as people who game, right? People who actually play video games. Now, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I've went from 2 jobs down to one. I have more free time now than I ever did before. That still don't mean I have all the free time in the world to just play video games. And here's the thing, when I am playing video games, correct? When I am playing video games, I can only play one game at a time. I can't play 2 games at the same time, right? So it doesn't matter how big of a library I have access to, I can only play one game at a time. And let's be quite frank about this, right? Whenever you see anything with a list of games, whether it's, you know, PlayStation Plus or PlayStation, what was it, PlayStation Now or Game Pass or even Stadia or whatever it is, that's just, some kind of service with a list of games. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're not going to play three-fourths of those games. I consider myself a very open-minded person when it comes to video games, right? But there's a lot of types of games that I just do not fuck with. And it's not from a lack of trying in the past, like I just didn't like those type of games, so I just never got around to it. Now, in a list of 1,000 games, I might like probably 250 of those games at the most, like 250 of those games, like 1/4 of it. And out of 20, 250 games, how many of them have I played already? How many of them have I already owned? How many of them would I like to play? How many of them I haven't played yet? The list just get down smaller and smaller. And to be honest with you, by the time you're done, you're realistically left with about 10 to 20 games that you actually play on that service. And that's being generous. I feel like it's actually less than that. It's actually 5 to 10 games. But I'll give you the 10 to 20. All right? Now think about that. You're paying upwards of $15 to $20 a month to access 20 games. It's $1 a month per game every month. Forever. Forever. Now let's do it in a cheap, right, quote unquote cheaper format than your average gamer who actually purchase games day one and whatnot and spend full dollar on a game, right? Like myself. I do that. I find the value in that, right? But let's not talk about what I think is valuable. Let's talk about what you think is valuable. Let's just say it's at $10. From what I understand, it's 15, but let's just say it's at $10, right? $10 a month for a full year. That's $120. Let's not say you buy brand new games that cost 60, $70, right? Let's just say you buy older games, games that are out for 3, 4, maybe 5 years, right? They Most of them realistically only cost like about $15 by that point, 15, $20. Once a game get about 4 years old, it'll probably be about 15, $20, unless it's like really popular and it'll still be in the 20s. So realistically, you could buy a couple of those old games, at least four of them that you actually like that you haven't purchased for $120. At least four of them, right? I feel like you could do at least four on $120 on older games. You could do a lot more because some of them only cost like $5 and they're amazing games. You can realistically buy about up to 10 games on games that are not older than 10 years. Most of those games that you was about to play on Game Pass, now you're telling me that's not worth more if you could just buy those. Now this is not really factual. This is just opinion based because what people put value in is very different. My taste in value, right? My concept of value is different. I've never thought of the word cheap when I think of value. Value is actually at the core of what I've been talking about. You have to find the value in the products and services that you're buying. You need to find it valuable enough to part ways with your money. And if you're telling me a service is valuable, right? The value within this service is unmatched, then I don't agree. Quite frankly, I just don't agree. Where is the value in paying upwards of $15 for nothing? You're paying for access. You literally keep nothing, and there's no worth in that. And if you don't have worth, you can't have value. But let's talk about that shit though. Let's talk about the RDNA thing, right? Here's the thing with me. I'm sure all of you know I'm not the most tech savvy of gamers. I don't know how my TV work. I just know when I click the power button, it comes on. I am honest enough to admit that to you guys because I don't give a fuck how you feel. Most of y'all are the same. If all the electricity in the world poof goes out, we're fucked because there's not enough people in the world to know how to get that shit back in order. Most of us is dumb as shit. Let's keep it 1,000. I mean, me, I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I do know, what I don't know. When it comes to these specs and all of that, I leave it to the tech expert. I will dibble dabble and try to understand it as best as I can before the console come out because that's what we have to talk about. The specs on the paper, right? That's all we have. That's all we have is just the specs on paper. So that's what we're going with. The only problem is it is now the end of February. These consoles came out early November. It is now late February, which means it is a solid 4 months at this point that these consoles has been out and games are available on them as we speak, right? If that is the case, why are we just not speaking about the results that these games are showing us, why are we even speaking about any of these specs at all? Any of it? Because does it really matter? Does it really matter what engine you have under the hood of your car if we've already raced and I beat you? Does it matter at all what configuration you have? Hmm? Does it matter that your shit is turboed out? Hmm? Does it matter that your aftermarket intake you know what I'm saying? Your intake system is cooler than mine. It's better than mine. Yes, yes, your intake system is better than mine. Your turbo is also bigger than mine. It is a stage 4, mine is not even close. Why are we still speaking about the specs on paper when we've already ran this race and I dragged you? What is the point of even talking about numbers anymore? Numbers matter before we actually run it. Do you understand? I could tell you how much horsepower I have on my hood. To the wheel, homie, to the wheel. I could tell you how much horsepower I have. You could tell me yours. You could tell me how much your car weigh. I could tell you how much my car weigh. We can throw these numbers back and forth all day, baby. But when it comes down to it, my car is still faster. I don't care about your numbers anymore. Whatever those numbers is that are superior to mine, it doesn't matter. All I care is the results. If specs matter, none of us would need to race. I would just show up at the function and just hand motherfuckers my car keys because we've already raced pink slips. He already won. Just look at his specs. Just look at the engine. Look at the fucking if he turbo his shit out or if he supercharged his shit. Hmm? If his shit, if his muffler's like on point compared to mine. Right? Like his exhaust system is just nicely cut than mine. Like mine was some bullshit, like welded on like dumbasses, right? Like motherfuckers who weld my fucking shit together just didn't know what they was doing, and his shit was on point, right? It doesn't matter. None of that matter because all that really matter after the race is the fact that my front end hit the finish line first. That's all that matters. That little lip at the bottom of my car touched the finish line before yours. That's all that really matters at this point. Why talk about RDNA? Fucking, I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. I have no idea what RDNA stand for. I don't even know what a Navi is. The only thing I know about Navi is the shit in my whip. And I know y'all ain't talking about the same thing. Does it really matter? Why y'all even engaging in that conversation anymore? I wouldn't. I would not speak about fucking specs or anything at all anymore. I just want to talk about results moving forward because we're running it right now. Motherfucking drag races are happening right now. Why are we not paying attention to the race? Why are we still talking about the numbers beside the vehicle? Hmm? What's the point? What does it matter? Does PlayStation 5 have RDNA 2, RDNA 1, RDNA 3? Does it fucking matter? Does it fucking matter what Xbox have? Do they have RDNA 2? Do they have RDNA 1? Do they have RDNA 3? Does any of that fucking matter? Why are you looking under someone's hood and discussing it at all, telling me how his car is supposed to beat mine when I beat his multiple times? Well, not only that, Uchiha, not only that, that's a whole different subject. No one speak about games. And here's the last thing that I want to talk about before I get out of here, right? This is be the final subject of the seminar. I would really appreciate if a lot of you could figure out what's important in life, right? Because here's the thing, I've always enjoyed discussing video games. I do. It's just one of my favorite hobbies. Why wouldn't I want to talk about it? But in order for me to talk about my hobby, I need to speak with someone who actually enjoyed my hobby just the same, you know? Or, they can enjoy it differently than I do. But as long as they can share their honest opinions about gaming or a certain game or just anything that's going on in the culture itself, I would love that. The issue I have is a lot of times I deal with motherfuckers who do not. It still really bothers me that there's people out there who would keep names of games in their mouth that they have not played. It bothers me so much because they actually speak about it. I don't, and I'm surprised anyone at all even entertains it. Well, what are we gonna talk about? If we compare games, why would you compare a game that you haven't played to a game you've already played? You haven't played one of the games, or even worse, you played neither games. What discussions can we even have? Really? Like, if you're telling me you do not enjoy a certain game, right? Or if you think it's quote unquote trash and you haven't played neither, right? How are you gonna tell me that? How are we even gonna have a discussion? But I've seen it constantly lately. Do you remember this guy on the round table? His name is Emmanuel. You know who I'm talking about? Now, you would think I'm picking on him, but I'm not. I'm just using his name because he's a clear-cut example of the type of people I'm talking about. When we was discussing a certain game like Returnal, and he mentioned that it is a blatant copy of Hellblade because they're both games about females that deals about um, psychological issues, right? They both have psychosis of some kind. And do you see how bothersome that is? First of all, none of us have played Returnal. We can only think that it's, a mental thing with her, or she could be on some magical planet that's fucking with her. We don't really even know yet, do we? None of us has played it. But what I can tell you is I've played Hellblade. And I could tell you this much. Hellblade is not about mental issues. It's about a person who has mental issues, but it's not about mental issues. It's about getting over grief, dealing with drama and loss. That's what the game is actually about. It just so happened the main character have some, you know, mental problems. She has certain psychosis that she has to work with. But that's not the point of the game. And currently, I don't know what to tell you, as far as the point of Returnal, because I really haven't played it. I have some ideas, probably not right. So the reason why I brought that up is because I seen that being really rampant lately, you know, and and I was actually watching one of the podcasts, one of the homies Thrash's podcast, right? And he was telling me, he's like, I just want to understand. And here's the thing, Thrash actually knows the answer. He just doesn't realize he knows the answer because he's actually told me the answer already. He just hasn't realized it. It's not about the hobby for these dudes. They just want to be a part of the conversation. That's what Thrash said to me. And he doesn't realize he has the answer right there. These dudes are not a part of the conversation. Okay? They're not supposed to be a part of the conversation because they are not a part of this hobby, this culture, if you want to call it that. I mean, I guess you can go as far as calling gaming a culture. I just fucking consider it a hobby of mine. How whatever lofty merits you want to give it, you can give it that. But it is very clear to me that you motherfuckers need to find what's more important in life. I understand it's nice to be on social media, kicking with the homies, talking shit, but what is the purpose of all of that if all of it is hollow? I'm sure you have hobbies that you do enjoy, right? If not gaming, and I'm sure there's communities for that, why are you not being a part of that? Because it's clear you are not gamers. You do not play video games, but you discuss it all the times. Why? You know what I mean? Why? You don't catch me at some fucking random event that I don't like. You don't see me at no pegging events, right? And motherfucker ain't trying to get pegged out here. You know what I mean? You ain't never see me at one of those. I don't participate in that type of activities. You know what I mean? Why would you show up in podcasts talking about stuff that you're not into? I feel like you're not into it because why wouldn't you, play a game if you are into playing games and discussing it? Like me, I love discussing video games. I have no issue with whatever it is that motherfuckers play on. I really don't care. To be honest with you, it's none of my fucking business what you spend your money on. You know, I did the seminar today to help you through the process, but I really don't care because every one of us will come to a different conclusion. Well, there's only so many conclusions when it comes to purchasing a console or whatever device you use to play video games, right? There's only so many options at the end of the day, right? So we all will come to similar fucking conclusions. But whatever conclusion you come up with after you try to figure out your own situation and make the purchases that you make, it's none of my fucking business. What I would like to do, and on that note, I want to speak about that in just a second on something else before I go too, right? Keep that in mind. But we're on this subject right now. Dude, why is what I want to know. Y'all have questions, I have questions. Why do y'all do that? Why do you speak about games that you haven't played? For what purpose? There's no reason to do that. Because I just want to discuss a game that I played with someone. The difficult part is finding someone who played it and is honest enough to actually speak on it, which is very odd. This is video games. It's not even that serious of a subject. Do you know how difficult it is for me to ask someone's opinion on a game or a console or a service or anything when it comes to this gaming shit? It's the oddest shit. You would think that motherfuckers is open to dialogue when it comes to the stuff we like doing, but it's like pulling teeth to get motherfuckers to speak honestly about anything. Anything. But, like I said, before I go, I want to speak about this really quick, right? After that, after telling motherfuckers they gotta figure out what they need to do in life because honestly, that's what it is. Why are you spending hours talking about stuff that you don't enjoy doing? That's what I want to know. But the last thing is, like I mentioned, I don't care what kind of money you spend on whatever. That's your fucking business. I sit up here and I talk about what I do because I don't mind sharing it. But realistically, what I do with my money is also none of y'all's fucking business. I see a lot of people giving Nintendo dudes grief for that Zelda shit, for that remastered Zelda shit that's still like $60 or some crazy shit like that. Look, I made the firm decision, well, not firm decision, but I've made the decision not to fuck with a Switch because I just haven't really, you know, found any reasons to. I just don't have like the need or want for it anymore. And I'm not bashing Nintendo at all. I grew up on it. I love it. I still love it. I still love all the Nintendo shit. It's just, you know, I just don't. First of all, I don't game on the go. I drive everywhere, you know. But it's just not in me to have a Nintendo, sir. Like a game, like I don't know what it is. They don't excite me like they used to. Now it doesn't mean other people can't, right? But with that whole Zelda shit, hey, as long as they feel like that's money well spent, that's money well spent. I'm talking about dudes who's buying that shit. I'm just being honest with you because I don't need nobody to tell me what the fuck to do with my money. I'll spend it on whatever game I want. All right, and I'll spend $70, bitch ass motherfucker, right? So I would never tell a Nintendo dude what to do. You want to buy that shit, buy that shit. Okay, that's on you. At the end of the day, that's your money, not mine. And we need to check ourselves on that shit. That's their money, not ours. All right. Now here's the thing. That's very different than telling a business, any corporations that they fucked up, that they need to fix some shit, right? What's the difference? How do we know, like, draw the line? The way you draw the line is if it has anything to do with you. Do you understand? If a Nintendo dude look at that $60 and be like, "No, fuck all that. Now Nintendo, what the fuck you doing, right?" Then that's fine. That has to do with him. That's his money. He has to spend that shit. His or her. I'm sorry. Trying to be more, what you call it. I don't even know what to call it. I'm just trying to be more, inclusive. I guess that's the word. Um, but yeah. So I don't mind because it's none of my business that y'all spend that kind of money. Y'all could do that. I mean, I wouldn't. Personally, I would not. I would not spend $60 on a 10-year-old remaster, right? I don't even know if it's a remaster. I think it's just a regular ass port or some shit. $60. I wouldn't. But if you want to spend that, that's none of my business. Real talk. That's none of my fucking business. And anybody else who's talking about, we just try to look out for y'all. No, fuck all that. Y'all grown. If y'all just go through the simple ass steps of asking yourself, is it worth that $60, and you made that fucking purchase, that's your decision to make. You made that money, you spend that money the way you feel like you want to do it. It's none of my business. Same way with me. I make my money, I spend it the way I want to spend it. It's none of y'all's fucking business how I spend my money, right? So with the Nintendo shit, I'm not like I'm not one of those dudes. Y'all can spend money however you want. Now, if y'all have a problem with it, then that's on y'all. Y'all need to speak up on that. That's nothing to do with me. Me personally, I don't have a problem spending $70 a game either, as long as the game's worth it. And that's first or third party. I don't give a shit. Matter of fact, matter of fact, if anyone been kicking it with us for the longest on the round table, on Six Humor shit, on my own podcast, y'all would have heard me said this years ago. Years ago. I wouldn't mind spending $70 or $80 on a game. You could check with OBJ. OBJ did not know I said that shit. He know for sure I said that shit because he argued with me for like the longest on that. I think we was on a I think we was on a podcast on Six Channel. It's either Six Channel or Roundtable podcast. But I was saying I would be fine with $70 or $80 as long as they put the game out and it's nice and clean from the go. I'm down. Like I don't mind spending that kind of money because I find the value in that. Some of y'all might disagree on that, and it's fine. Like you got to find where your value lies. Like if you think $70 is too much for a game, then I guess you're gonna have to wait for it to go on sale. Like I mentioned, I'm not here to talk about your finances. I'll share my finances however I feel comfortable, you know. But that's as far as it goes. And that's basically it, man. As y'all could tell, like my voice sounded different earlier because I really meant that shit. If anyone who ever say some dumb shit like that to y'all and y'all feel like, you know what you said was stupid, but I don't have the time or the energy to break this shit down, You just link them this video. Be like, here, listen to this, the first half of this shit, and then come back to me and see if you still have the same dumbass question you had earlier. Because it can't be any simpler than that. I broke it down to as simple as it could be. If you still don't get it, then you just not gonna get it. Then you just don't want to get it. You a fuck boy. That's just what it is. Right? But I think that's about it, right? Is there anything else? Is there anything else y'all wanna bring up besides that? The seminar is over. This is just me talking now. Like I don't really. I needed to do that. I felt like this necessary. You know why I feel like it's necessary? Because enough people asked that to where I feel like some of them really must have not thought that shit through. They never really thought about what they're asking for. You know how they say, be careful what you ask for? Like, I'm really concerned that they don't realize what they're asking for. They literally asking for these businesses to form a rainbow coalition of fuck the consumer. They really think that's a good idea. But anyways, man, I'm about to hop off. Look, I got things that I'm planning on doing still. I know I said that for months already, but I mean, motherfucker got shit out here to deal with too. You know what I mean? Lunar New Year just came through and shit, all kinds of shit. But I have stuff in the works. It's still fresh in my head as I sit at work every day thinking about it. I just haven't got a chance to. I got more free time now, but lately, due to that, I've been, handling a lot more personal shit. If you work a lot, you missed out on a lot of shit, man. And that's why, I'm retired from one of my jobs. I just don't want to do it no more. That way I can have more free time for life. You feel me? And I crunched for many years to be able to say that. And it's not like I stopped working. I still have one job, but it feels insanely different from having two jobs. All right? You actually have time to breathe, time to think, time to chill and shit. Thanks, DT, bro. But yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate y'all coming out, of course. I mean, I hate the obligatory fucking outros and shit, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I feel odd as fuck even doing this outro. I feel like I'm supposed to do it more in a more professional manner, like how I was doing earlier. You know what I mean? But it's getting too late. I'm way too tired to have that tone no more. By the way, that's usually the tone I have when I'm like speaking to customers. Not the exact tone, but during the daytime, that's usually the way I sound. I sound a little bit different than I usually do and shit. You know what I mean? Way more presentable during the day type shit. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all coming through as always. Royal Flush, Draco Rex, Asian Gambit. The next one will be on time. I wasn't even planning on doing one yesterday. I wasn't planning on doing any fucking podcasts at all this week until Sunday. But some stuff came up, and I was like, I really need to do a seminar for these stupid ass motherfuckers that don't seem to get it. But I mean, Jemiah, DT, thanks for coming through for the first time, DT. Come through again next time. It's usually not like this. I'm way fucking more high than this. I'm actually super sober right now, and it's a problem. But Garuda, Uchida, you know what I'm saying? All y'all motherfuckers, Sick was here. I don't even know if Sick's still here or not. Titanfall and them. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Logical and shit. Um, who I haven't seen like that much? I know he was here earlier, but I didn't get a chance to say shit to him because I was in the middle of running my mouth from that seminar shit. But Stardust, bro. I mean, I've had dealt with all kinds of shit. I hope everything's smooth with you, bro. But all right, man. I see y'all and Quan too. Quanvo. You know what's crazy, man? My real name in Vietnamese is very similar to that. I'm just saying. It's crazy. But anyways, Royal Flush, Draco Rex, Asian Gambit. I'll see y'all next Sunday. I am doing some other shit. Y'all see here very soon. It's nothing spectacular, but I'm glad I found an avenue to speak on certain things that I want to speak on. But on that note, I'll holler at y'all next week or one of these roundtables whenever we do them. You know what I mean? I shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate it, and see y'all next week. Deuces.